The journey to Nigeria's independence is one story told many times and in different ways due to the events that shaped it. But regardless of the number of times the story is told, the resilience of the national champions who braved British opposition to reach for national glory cannot be overlooked. This is perhaps the one thread that is common to the joy that is shared on October 1 every year. But about 30 years from that auspicious date in 1960, Nigeria's emergence from a former colonial territory to a fully self-conscious West African state was near complete. Yet, underneath this spectacle was a political fabric that seemed to have been stretched to an extreme, leading to mass action by civil groups demanding an end to military dictatorships. Muyiwa Jimoh, now a politician and an activist, tells us the role activism played in confronting the challenges posed by the military regime.
There were agitations by Nigerian youths. People like Anthony Eramosole Enaoro was one of the youths, eventually from his own group, the Awolowo group eventually moved the motion for independence. But before then, there were people that were against the independence of Nigeria. They believed that some certain part of the country is not ready, and their language was that as soon as it's practicable. Eventually, when the independence was given, the power was given. They were the beneficiary of the governance, and since then, the question of majority and minority questions have been the dominant question in Nigerian history, to the extent that the Richard Constitution, which was before independence now, who gave back to region, created a divisions between the south and the north, and within the west and other. Because the Richard Constitution gave back to region, we now have western region, eastern region, northern region, and so Nnamdi Azikiwe, that had been leading government business in Lagos, was also asked to go back to his own region. He also went back to East to display Professor Eyo Rita, who is also from the minority in the then Old Cross River State, which is now Cross River and Akwa Ibom State. And Awolowo was in charge of the western region, and Ahmadu Bello was in northern region. And since then, the question of ethnic politics of ethnicity came into the political lexicon of Nigerian history, and it's still what we are still experiencing as a people. Activism gave us the courage, the readiness, the fortitude to challenge the status quo, despite it was a military junta who is ready to kill. But activism gave us the impetus that we are not mercenaries, but a patriot that believes in any ideals that we stand for.
Democracy we are enjoying today, it is we, the activists, that face the military, and the records are there.
We give grace to God that at the time we had independence, we were able to achieve one for the country, and we must thank our forefathers who actually struggled for Nigeria to gain our independence on the 1st October 1960. Well, using the phrase Nigeria behaving like a child when we are 60 years old, with all sense of modesty and sincerity, I would say that it's a journey. It's a journey that a lot of investment has gone into it, like I said, by our founding fathers. We must also put into consideration that in 1966 we have the incursion of the military, which truncated the democracy, which could particularly have advanced our cause in development. And like they normally say, that the worst form of democratic government is better than military dictatorship. So if you say we are behaving like a child, I would a little bit want to differ on that. If you say we are behaving like maybe a 30-year or 20-year-old person, yes, looking at the life of Nigeria from the democratic point of view, I don't think we have done badly. We have to look at what we have achieved in terms of stability. We have only about 6 years of democracy before the military came in, took off the right you and I had for us to speak. But since 1999, we have been enjoying democracy. We can talk. Even though if some people refuse to listen, we still say our mind.
Between the years 1990 and 1999, 3 military regimes ruled the country, a somewhat gloomy period that was brightened up by historical sporting events that subsequently placed Nigeria on an enviable height. But the history of Nigeria and how it gained independence cannot be told without talking about the events that led to Nigeria becoming a self-governed state.
It is important that the colonial state, which Nigeria is one of it, the colonial masters created a bifurcated society of those who will be empowered and those who will be disempowered, and from that we have been moving pari passu in that direction. So hitherto we have not been able to get Nigeria of our own dream, because when you talk of Nigeria, when you talk of pre-independence, post-independence, there are even some people that were the ambigger, the pathfinder of Nigeria's struggle. They were youth then that even Nigerians of today don't remember again. I will mention Mogugo Okoye. Mogugo Okoye is one of the outstanding youth that fought for the independence of this country. People hardly remember them. There are so many. There's Zunkoji. There are a lot of people that have fought for the independence of the country that people don't even remember that they've fought for this independence. Perhaps maybe they are not in public sphere, but that does not mean we should not have documentation of those who have fought for our independence. But look at it all. At times I do see it, that how could millions of Nigeria be colonized by a few thousands Englishmen and women, and when they came, they created the impression that we are not capable of governing ourselves, that we are like a baby. As of then, that there is need for tutelage, there is need for colonization, there is need to guide us. And despite that, after that independence in 1960, we are still behaving that we are still a baby. It's a fundamental issue. Though, in 1960, when independence was given, and it was a deliberate attempt, virtually all the African countries in that period, from the Francophone to Saxophone to Anglophone, we are all given independence, with the exception of Zimbabwe that got independent in 1980, with the exception of Angola and some other few countries that later got independent after 1960. But we talk of Ghana of 1959 or 1960 and on some other countries, it was that period they gave independence. And when they were given independence, it was a political independence, not economic independence. And economic independence is more powerful than political, because when you seek the kingdom of economy, every other thing will stand on it. It is on the economy that every other thing stand on. Is the substructure that all the superstructure, both political, social, are on it. So if we don't get it correctly, it will be a black horizon. We won't get to where we are expected, and we're not going to get a Nigeria of our own team. That's why we are in this predicament in 21st century. We are still talking about we are still talking about immunization. We are still talking about how to raise corruption.
Despite the ups and downs, many look back through the years as one filled with commendable events.
I must tell you that our democracy is surviving. It's surviving. The nascent democracy is no more a nascent democracy. It's a well-entrenched and established democracy. No matter how difficult it is, Buhari has come with his own system of governance, and I think he's trying as much as possible to entrench democracy. And with our party, APC is a party that meant well for this country, and that was why we have not been rigging an election. If you are popular, you win. And if you are not popular, you lose. So if other party can follow suit, then we will appreciate what they are doing. I want to see us celebrating more. I want to tell Nigerians that we must endure. Togetherness is our strength. Our bonds is our power. We should not wish it away. I want to see us coming together more stronger. I want to see us developing economically. I want to see the infrastructure of this country flourishing. I want to see the youth coming up more stronger. I want to see job, people working, those who are able to work, working and earning their living. I want to see security of lives and property. I want to see Nigerians in the next few days with their eyes closed, sleep confidently when all those hoodlums have been taken away from the street.
Yeah, we continue to talk. I'm not saying that people that want to celebrate should not celebrate, but I don't believe in the celebration of where we are, because this is not where we're supposed to be at 60. A fool at 40 is also a fool forever. But if you are a fool at 60, it means you are going to be eternally fool. So enough is enough for even a fool, not a wise.
By every account, the decade of the 1990s was Nigeria's watershed moment, moving from its worst experience in military dictatorships to the birth of the present democratic order.